Nothing new here. I'm late. There's basically a lot of there'll be rehearsals today for most of the day. Then after that we'll be doing a lot of documentation, paperwork, stuff that I couldn't finish yesterday or the week before, and like that. So yeah. Whew. Let's go. How do you feel? Good? Good? You ready for practice?
Yes.
Alright, let's go. So yeah, like I said, we had percussion rehearsal today, and then we moved items to the hall because that's where we're gonna perform on Saturday. And then we had a very short class party, and then the kids are off now, so can get back to doing work. Right, a lot of paperwork to clear. And bam, I'm home. It's about 6 o'clock, so I gotta pick my son up from the childcare in a half an hour's time. Got a bit of time, so I thought I'll talk to you guys a bit. I have to apologize if, let's say, my eyesight has been like wandering around, because I'm still getting used to where the camera on this phone is at. The Nexus 6P is here. Previously, the Nexus 6 had the camera about up here somewhere. And the location at the back is also different, so sometimes you might see me like staring off. It's because I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at the screen now. I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at the camera. Look at the screen. I'm looking at the camera. So if you ever see me like looking off, I'm checking the screen like for focus and stuff. Then I'm back to the camera, right? I'm gonna be talking about like special education stuff. So if you're not interested in that, I sort of understand, but I hope that you sit down and listen, because it'll be good for you, right? Trust me, it'll be good for you, right? It gives you on what's going on. I thought I'd talk a bit about the stuff that special education teachers do, because there seems to be a lot of misconception on what exactly we do. There's a lot of, we don't have mainstream exams, right? We don't have like your primary school leaving examinations. We don't have your O-levels, except for some schools who do offer that for their students. The students are more able to access that aspect of education. But for most special needs schools, autism or otherwise, most of them anyway do not offer national examinations. Some of them don't even offer workplace literacy and numeracy programs from the Workforce Development Agency, WDA, if you've heard of it. If you've not heard of it, well, it's an agency that helps people to upgrade themselves, like academically, but in a way that is relevant to the workforce, I guess. What's up with the live thing, man? One sec. We don't have CAs, continual assessments. If you're a mainstream teacher, you probably have that mid-year exams, end-of-year exams. What we have is like an ongoing project work, so every day they come, there's things that we assess them on, based on different, like domain, skill set topics. Like instead of English, we'd have literacy, right? So instead of maths, we'll have numeracy. It's the same focus, but it's not gearing them towards examinations. It's gearing them towards life. Like we'll be teaching them skills and assessing them on skills of being able to communicate, need not necessarily speak, but communicate in an effective manner such that they'll be able to function in society, like get a job or be able to ask for directions if they get lost, or what to do if you're lost. What to do if you're lost falls under another domain, but you get what I mean. I like mainstream schools, right? You got your paperwork, you got, you do a lot of markings and all that. We have some of that, but mostly what we do is we do ongoing assessments on the students for every period that, let's say, we have a literacy period, so we'll have whatever topics that we need to teach them, and then we'll do an assessment. We'll do a one-on-one assessment. It depends on what kind of aspect that we're looking to assess. Most of the time, we will be using this system called discrete trial teaching. Like for literacy, how to identify your own written name, for example. What we do is we'll show them their name, and then we'll show them some like incoherent garbage, or just, for starters, right, to see whether they can differentiate between their name and some incoherent thing. Discrete trial teaching, we do that, and then once we've ascertained that they're able to do that, then we substitute the incoherent garbage with something more coherent, something they're familiar with, maybe a name of a place that they always know, and then we see whether they can discriminate, which is very important for people with special needs, because sometimes the focus is not like there, so we need to determine whether they can actually focus on stuff that they need to be focusing on, basically. Because of that, we have like daily data sheets of data on all their skills that we're teaching them based on the goals for the year that was set at the start of the year, right? We call them the individual education plan, which is customized for each student based on their abilities, where they are and where we want them to be. Of course, this is done in consultation with the parents. See, most of the time we would have jotted down the data on like specialized data sheets. Ideally, we would have done that, but in most cases, we'll be jotting down the data on like pieces of paper that we have, because we didn't bring enough data sheets. The students suddenly, on that day decided to do very well, and we had to move on, and there's not enough sheets, specialized data sheets that we can enter the data into, so it's mostly on paper. Sometimes it's on my phone, because we don't have paper at that point in time. Yeah, you could say that it's bad planning, but I just say that it's how you adapt to a situation, to adapt to something that you need to do at that point in time, which is to take data. If that's it, all the domains we have like a lot of pieces of like a lot of data. It's on pieces of paper here. It's on my phone, on one of my notes somewhere, and so come the end of the year, when the student graduates. Of course, before this we would have tabulated the information so that we can present to the parents, during the parent-teacher, tell them whether whether the goal was achieved or not achieved, or they really excel in it. Should we, and we discuss further on like what else we can do for next year and stuff like that. But tabulate doesn't mean that it's properly documented. All right, it's just I have all this data, I'm tabulating it. Okay, this is the information. We'll let the parents know. All right. So once that's done, so reports are done, we begin actually documenting. And this is a very tiring process. So it's basically you're just transferring whatever data you have onto an actual document. You gotta imagine that it's from, well, it's not from the start of the year, but it's from the middle of the year up till now, because we had a progress report thing in the middle of the year. We have that twice in a year, middle of the year and the end of the year. So yeah, it's from like July. So there's tons of data that I have on my phone, that I have in papers that I brought home today. I gotta like transfer all that there. Some of the data is already in the actual documents, so that I can print it out and file them and stuff. But the majority of the of the data, it's still in paper somewhere. So I need to. At this point in time, in the end of the year, that's what most SPED teachers do. All right. There's also getting the files in order. Like the data sheet should be in students' files. Any updates to their like addresses, vital information, their reports, their progress reports, updates on their IEPs, like that. And come end of the year in the school, most special school, we have this end of the year like graduation thing for students who are like turning 18 or are already 18 and they're gonna move on to post 18 services. Yeah, so maybe I'll talk about post 18 options when I do another vlog. We also have school-based awards. It's like in the mainstream school, you have like who scored the best in maths for primary 3 or 4 or something, and then you go up, you get the award for that and stuff like that. Well, we have that too. It's based on the data that we got, like from that data, then we gather it, and there's a committee to deliberate. There's that. There's performances. My class is involved in the performance. If you haven't already like figured out, like we're having rehearsals. We'll continue to have rehearsals until the actual day of graduation, which is this Saturday, in conjunction with family day thing where people can come and experience the whole. It's like a carnival atmosphere in the school itself. So there'll be games, there'll be stuff, and then we'll be showcasing some of the students' works and stuff like that, which is happening there. So they'll have that, and then this. So students like who are not graduating, well, with the winning awards, they're all gonna be in that graduation hall ceremony thing. Then something's gonna happen right once like school holiday starts for the students, which is the same as most primary school students. So once that happens, right, what happens next is the students will be moved for next year's deployment, meaning they might be given a new class, they might be given new teachers, to better match their level and to better help them improve. What happens next for us is we got all this data. I still need to get the files in order, but once everything's in order, then we need to do a handover. There's a handover process where we need to meet the new teachers. We need to discuss with the new teachers on how we have helped the child develop over the year, so that the next teacher or whoever it is that is tasked with the development of the child can then follow through. Okay, that in itself takes all time, because we might have like 5 students, 6 students, 7 students in a class, but if all 7 are gonna like have new class deployments, if all 7 are gonna, then that's a lot of like, you do a meeting, it takes about maybe an hour for you to like fully tell the other teacher like what's up with this kid, like how to help him and all that. So might take an hour, so it's like 7 hours. That's like a whole work day, and it's not like 7 hours within a day, right? Because sometimes people aren't free. We also have trainings that are going on when we come back. After school closes, we got trainings. I have some stuff I need to do with regards to the school center of emergency, because I'm sort of like partly in charge of that aspect. So like there's a lot of stuff. Right, there's a lot of stuff. It's not like special needs teachers are relaxing and whatever. We take the time to relax because there's a lot of stuff happening. And the trainings that we go for, picture exchange communication system, PECS, they call it PECS. I don't have it with me, which reminds me I need to make a PECS book for one of my students. Yeah, because she lost hers. It's somewhere, so I need to make a new one. One of the trainings is like picture exchange communication system, any like framework changes with how we approach behavior, with how we approach pedagogy in the school. It's going to happen the 2 weeks after the school closes. Like there's no students, so that's when all the training will happen. That's when all the appraisals will happen. Well, mine is done, you know. So you gotta like slot in the early and get it done. The handover stuff, right? I've only spoken about like handing over of you know, the student files and the actual, you know, student care for the teacher next year. But we also need to like some of us, we need to change classes. We need to swap. You gotta do class cleanup. You gotta swap. That takes a lot of time. You gotta swap classes, prepare like modalities, prepare visuals, like for special needs kids, especially kids with autism. You gotta prepare their schedules. You gotta prepare their after taking over. You know, once you know like what the kid's about, and you gotta like prepare all the stuff that they need to function well in school next year. Yeah. In addition to, you know, other stuff that a special needs teacher might be involved in, like committees in like literacy or numeracy, or like me, I'm involved in the Center for Emergency, which is like, you know, in charge of your fire drills, your safety, your stuff like that. So yeah, it's not just all roses for special needs educators in Singapore. We do a lot, you know. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me, you know, having a semi rant about like what special education teacher is gonna be. Hopefully it helps to dispel a lot of the myths surrounding like what we actually do, right? Yeah, hopefully it does that, because I've been hearing some people say, well, over my years in teaching, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, what are you guys doing? You guys just relaxing and bringing the kids into class and you just let them watch videos and stuff. Well, we do, but they're educational videos. It ties into the subject and stuff like that. There's instructional plans, lesson plans we need to do, and there's a lot of stuff, guys. Okay, there's just a lot of stuff. We're not just hanging around. There's just a lot of stuff. Again, thanks for listening. If you're still listening, if you haven't switched off to another channel or something, thanks for listening. It is gonna rain. If you like this video, please you know, like it. If you think it's useful, please share it, so that more people know what special needs teachers do, especially this part of the year. I'm hoping to, like, in addition to the vlogs that I usually do, I also hope to do like these kind of vlogs where I kind of show you the life of a special education educator. I love to talk about the pay, but that's an iffy topic. So yeah, thanks for lending me your ears. Let me know though. Let me know in the comment section if you do like these kind of videos. Please share it so people know. Please like it if you like it. Then, you know, I might do more of these kind of videos when I do have the time. I may have the time later on, so I might like work on that. I'm also keen on talking about aspects of my son's movement through life as a special needs child, like how, well, he's in early intervention right now, diagnosed with autism. He's in early intervention. So like, what's the next step after that, right? And then what's the next step after that? And hopefully I hope all these videos would be helpful to parents with kids with special needs, you know, so that you know, you kind of like, sort of like have an idea of what to expect. It might not be the whole picture, right? But I'm hoping that you get an idea of, you know, what it is. All right. So yeah, guys, thanks again. Thanks. Like it, share it, please. Let more people know. And peace out, guys.